Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, and this is the Hendrick Hudson Central School District Board of Education meeting. Can I have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open.
Can I have a second? All in favor? The Hendrick Hudson Board of Education will be moving into executive session for the purposes of collective negotiations under the Taylor Law, medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment or promotion or demotion or discipline or suspension or removal of a particular person or corporation. Can I have a motion to move into an executive session?
Motion.
Second? Anyone second?
Second.
All in favor? The Board of Education will return at approximately 7 p.m. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Hendrick Hudson School District Board of Education meeting. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I have a motion to approve the agenda as stated.
Motion.
Anyone second? Second. All in favor? Carmen, is there anyone signed up for audience comments on non-agenda items? Thank you. Does anyone have anything to pull from the consent agenda? Can I have 4 and 5? We don't need a motion to do that, we just pull it? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus 4.5?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? So we're pulling consent agenda item 4.5 tonight to recognize the tenure of Vanitha Joy. We wanted to make sure that we recognized you. It wasn't that right for you a couple weeks ago. This is your official date. Mike, do you have anything you want to?
Sure. It's my honor to recommend Vanitha Joy on her well-deserved tenure appointment as Executive Director for Technology and Innovation here in the Hendrick Hudson Central School District. Vanitha's reputation as a leader in instructional technology extends far beyond our district. She is recognized throughout the region as a visionary who knows how to harness the power of technology to transform teaching and learning. And what sets Vanitha Joy apart is her commitment to building strong, meaningful relationships. She leads not just with expertise, but with her heart, ensuring that her first priority is always the people, our staff, and our students. She is truly student-centered, constantly focusing on how technology can best serve our learners. Her approach ensures that our staff feel safe, supported, and comfortable as they integrate new technologies and teaching strategies into their classrooms, creating a learning environment that benefits everyone. Vanitha, we are so fortunate to have you on our team, and we look forward to many years of your leadership and innovations. And congratulations. Highly inappropriate to talk about myself in a moment like this, but I want to share a story about Vanitha, if I may. So, we know that education is a small world, and education. So, I was in a position where I had the opportunity to work with Vanitha previous to this. And it did not work out for whatever reason. But Vanitha came to me my first day, and your first day of anything, even though I'm only scared of snakes and people dressed as animals, you're always a little bit more nervous on the first day of some things. And it was so nice to see Vanitha's kind face and welcome from her. And I thought she was going to come up to me and say such a nice thing. And she said, "Well, I guess you're stuck working with me because we didn't work together before." But it was a way to break the ice, and I am very proud that our professional paths found our way back together. And it has been a pleasure to work with you and learn from you, and I look forward to you having many more years here in the Hendrick Hudson Central School District. So congratulations. And we have a small token of our appreciation, and I'll ask the President of our Board of Ed to share.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Hold on, hold on. Hold on.
together this year.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Steve's job.
That moves us on to our audience comments on agenda items.
You need to approve the.
Oh, we have to approve. Oh, we need to approve the professional personnel 4.5. Can I have a motion to approve consent agenda item 4.5, professional personnel? Motion. Second?
Second?
All in favor? Thanks, everyone.
Just remember, your actual date is the 8th, I believe, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
So,
All right, that moves us to audience comments on agenda items. Is there anyone signed up?
No?
Okay, now we're moving on to our presentation and discussion of our capital project, and it will give us an overview and update. And at home, you can follow along if you're watching with the board. We have it on our screens, and it's also in board docs. You guys have it? And yes, I'm so sorry. I'm going to let Mr. Trombley introduce our presenters.
So I'm very pleased to welcome both our Director of Facilities, Mr. Anthony Merlini, and our architect from KSQ, Armand, who will be taking us through an update of our capital project that was approved last spring on at the annual budget vote. We are very happy that the community put its trust in us to engage in this project, which will continue to allow our facilities to grow with our students and to grow with the changing times of the educational environment. I will tell you that my brief experience working with KSQ has been that of the highest professionalism, a care and concern for the student experience, and always asking what our desires are from an instructional standpoint. So it's been a pleasure, and Armand, I look forward to the presentation, which will update us on what has been done, what is in the process, and what are the next steps. Armand?
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, and really pleased to have this opportunity to meet with the school board and the community to talk about an update on the bond that was recently passed for the school district. Our agenda is to introduce the timeline for phases 1 and 2. There are a handful of administrative items that we've been working on behind the scenes. We have about 10 slides dedicated to the phase 1 bond scope, and then an update on what's happening with phase 2, which is second in line. So this slide charts on top the phase 1 timeline and then below phase 2. Phase 1 is all of our site work, roof work, and exterior building envelope projects. Those projects were sort of handpicked to go first in phase 1. There's very little stakeholder input that's needed. We essentially meted with Mr. Merlini to go through and Mr. Trombley to go through the needs of that phase. And that project was drawn over the summer and submitted in August to the State Education Department. So my big blue arrow with SED stands for New York State Education Department. That's the permitting process that's currently 7 to 8 months in duration. That'll bring us out to the end of this calendar year. We'll go out to bid, and we'll be ready to build these projects in the summer of 2025. Okay, so at the end of the summer, probably in early October, we'll have our roofs updated, we'll have the site work complete, as well as the exterior building envelope improvements. Phase 2 is the far more complex of the two projects. It includes all of the rest of the work. Its value is about $22.5 million. The value of phase 1 is $7.5 million. So phase 2, we've just kicked off programming stakeholder meetings. We'll be drawing feverishly through the fall and into the winter, and then submit those documents to the State Education Department in the middle of next year, and be ready to have construction in the summer of 26. Okay, so that's a snapshot of the two phases and how they're running simultaneously. We will be adding a construction manager to the project team, we hope right about the end of this calendar year. Those proposals were submitted to the community in September. We received in early October proposals from the construction managers. We're just vetting them now, and we'll be inviting the construction managers in to interview, we hope at the very end of October or early November. We're also commissioned very detailed site updates, so that's the topographic mapping of your campuses. Those will be folded into the Phase 1 work product, and we've also completed infrared roofing testing. So we know where there's hot spots and water perched in the roofs, and those areas will get special attention in addition to the rest of the roofing. So the next series of slides delineate the scope of work for Phase 1. Go ahead. Thanks. So starting at the high school, I made a comment that the cupola at the high school, which is our very iconic community element in town and for our school community, it's the thing you physically point to. It's been on our 5-year capital plan since 2010. So we're really excited to be able to structurally improve the cupola, remove and replace some of the ornamentation on the outside and make it prepared and fit for the next generation. There's a really cool picture in the center middle that's inside looking up through the wooden structure. The site work at the high school, on the lower left is a picture of the Seward entrance, and so you see those 2 gates there, and then to the right of the gates is the existing retaining wall. The retaining wall is beyond its serviceable life, and in the morning when those gates are open, both cars and students go through this same sort of neck to get up to the high school. And the idea is that we'll remove the damaged or older parts of the retaining wall, rebuild it, and make a much wider access way from Seward Street. So we'll have a separate dedicated sidewalk for pedestrians and then a separate driving aisle for the cars. On the right, as an alternate, so that's if finances permit, we have a repavement of the teachers' parking lot. So if I was standing on Albany Post Road with the high school in front of me, all the way on the left is the teachers' parking lot, and that will be repaved through funding from the bond. And then last slide for the high school, this is a roof plan of Hendrick Hudson High School. The areas in the darker gray hatch are all the flat roofs that are scheduled to be recoated and resurfaced. We'll provide a new warranty for those roofs. And again, keeping the water out is so important as we make other reinvestments in the high school. Moving now to the Blue Mountain Middle School. The original 1969 building, which is essentially the square building in the center of the slide, its entire roof is scheduled for replacement. And again, it'll enjoy a new warranty and for the next generation. The angled addition on the lower right has newer roofs, and those are not needed to be replaced as part of this bond. Site work at Blue Mountain. On the left, lower image on the left, there's an existing athletic field that's actually over the septic galleries on that part of campus. And the idea is to refurbish both the drainage and the natural turf to make the athletic field more playable and more usable and to drain faster after rain events. There's also dollars set aside to repave the very front of the building across from the front door. That's the oldest and the most frail pavement, so that will get new asphalt. Moving now to Frank G. Lindsay, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade school. There are repairs to sidewalks and pavements right between the edge of the classroom wing and Trolley Road. There's been recent work that was completed by the district over the summer, so we're actually updating our plans to cover that and to dovetail the new work into it. Let's see. Okay. So moving now to Furnace Woods. There is original woodwork underneath the canopy at the main entrance that's just had water damage that'll be replaced. There's also on the left side of the building the faculty parking lot and the staging and access area. Again, the most frail pavements that will be replaced as part of the bond. Staying with Furnace Woods, there are miscellaneous eaves and exterior envelope pieces that are beyond their serviceable life that will be repaired. The outside canopy that faces towards the middle school, all the way on the right side of the plan, has a couple of rotting steel columns that will be replaced. So again, getting these buttoned up and for the next generation is all part of the bond work. Okay, so moving now, I think our last slide at Buchanan Verplank Elementary School. There's, on the lower left, there's a canopy over the existing staging and loading dock. That's essentially the structurally not sound, so we're going to remove that and put a new structural canopy there. And then there are also improvements at the very front door of the school. We want to widen in the loop so that cars can bypass each other. This is a safety improvement for the school, and then some other miscellaneous sidewalk improvements. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, the total bond cost for phase 1 is $7.5 million. It breaks down, as you see, among your 5 schools in this table. And then just a quick update on phase 2. Phase 2 is far and away the more intensive of the programming sessions, stakeholder input. We've had a series of one-on-one meetings with school principals and their site-based teams. We're now moving from data collection right into the beginning of the design effort. That work will culminate into the construction documents that we'll prepare over the winter and be prepared to submit to the State Education Department in the spring of '25. The total bond cost for phase 2 is $22.5 million. Almost $15 million of that is for the middle school, as you recall. So happy to answer any questions. This is intended to be sort of a brief update as school begins in the fall semester. We'll be back a number of times with a lot more detail.
Does anyone have any questions?
I was just gonna ask, what's the duration of the project for next year? Is it just, you start in the summer and it goes until like October?
With the phase 1,
Phase 1.
yeah, so typically, not typically, we will be ready, safe, and open when school starts in September, but there will be button-up and close-up pieces that will finish over the months of September and October.
Anyone else have questions? I do. Well, I just want to make a comment. I'm glad to hear that we have our site-based teams and our community and our staff involved in what this will all look like. I think that's a testament to, you know, again, I'm gonna go, I think we're gonna go back to this all year. What our strategic plan showed us was we need shared decision-making and communication. So that's a great thing, because we're not just making decisions and in a vacuum. So I think that's amazing. It's also not up to the board, right? That's another, it's up to the community. It's not, and I just want to point that out. And then I also had a question about BV specifically. The front of that building where that pergola is, actually is the front of the building, right?
Yeah.
Like when you look at that building, you're looking at those red doors and that.
The one?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
to the right.
the canopy over the,
It's in the front, yeah.
the canopy over the staging, over the
Yes.
loading dock is on the right.
It's on the right.
Yeah.
So you
So,
walk up, it's this.
yeah, so when you
Yes,
make.
on the right-hand side.
Yeah, when you make your way up the driveway, if you peel off to the right where the dumpsters and so on are, it's over in that area.
Is there anything that we can do, and I don't know if the facilities team has done this, I don't know if it's gonna cost more money, to make that so it blends in more with the front of the building? Because I think it's really, when you look at that building, it's actually a really nice building, and you look at, you pull in and you go, you know, is there any way to blend that in, or maybe, I don't know if you guys have discussed that in facilities.
We did.
Yeah, we all agreed that the canopy over the loading dock shouldn't be an event around the school. So I think it'll be simple, metal, and it'll probably be a color that, you know, that's something that complements but doesn't stand out.
Okay, yes. I mean, I understand that yellow is caution color. I mean, there's certain things you can't get away from.
Well, to your point, I mean, the roll-up door is bright red.
Yeah.
I don't know if it needs to be bright red. There might be a way to mute that and we can work with the architect on a color that's going to be a little more aesthetically.
Yeah,
pleasing.
blend in.
Yeah, so just that, it takes when you're driving up, your eyes go here. Your focus should be on the main entrance of the building.
Actually, really
So,
cheap.
for example, a henna blue would really complement the color of the brick, and you know, and then there's wooden glulam beams that support the main classroom wing on the left. I think there's a way without calling for without using the investment that we've already called for to kind of clean it up and have it really feel more thoughtful and harmonious.
Yeah.
And then my other question was, how can we highlight, have we thought about how we can highlight these changes and bring them to life for the community? Especially thinking about the centennial of the high school coming up, the building itself. What is there, and I'm not saying you have to answer me now, I'm just putting this out there as a thought. To have the community follow along and see the progression of the project, especially I think especially the pergola at the high school and the columns, highlighting that we're 100 years.
So I think the Centennial is one of those opportunities. Also, these presentations updating the community. But I think we can make opportunities for celebrations as we complete the project.
Yep.
Yes.
Maybe it's something we can add to like our newsletter, just so they can see what's going on.
All right, that was it for me. Anyone else have any questions? All right, thank you to Armand, Anthony, our facilities team. This is wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Armand.
Thank you.
Anthony.
Thank you.
Facilities Committee. Any final words, Armand?
I hope to be back with good news and have a building permit in hand when we
Okay.
speak next.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, or you can take this as an opportunity to enjoy the nice, warm summer evening.
Okay, and that brings us to our superintendent's update.
Thank you, President Mills. So, brief update for you this evening. First of all, I do want to start off by taking a moment to celebrate Board of Education Recognition Week. It occurred last week, but this was the first board meeting since that week. So, I want to take a moment to thank and express my deepest gratitude to the Board of Education for their unwavering dedication to the service of Hendrick Hudson School District. Your tireless efforts to provide vision, leadership, and guidance are critical to the success of our students, staff, and most importantly, our schools, our staff, and most importantly, our students. Each of you brings valuable insights and expertise to the table, and your thoughtful approach to the challenges we face as a district help to create an environment where students can thrive. The countless hours you devote without pay, often behind the scenes, reflect a commitment to ensuring that every child in our district receives the best possible education. And on behalf of the entire district, thank you for your leadership, your passion, your service to our community, and as a small token of our appreciation, we've provided you a little something to recognize your continued hard work and dedication. And I do value professional growth. I heard last year that the boxes were too big, so I tried to downsize. So you have a night, Carmen was kind enough, because if I wrapped it, you would have had a box. So Carmen wrapped our small token of their appreciation for you, and you can feel free to open if you'd like. And it does conform with the gift policy that we just recently adopted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Open it up, please.
Open it?
Open the first page.
Thank you.
Aw, thanks, guys.
So sweet.
Thank you.
What is the A stand for?
Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you to Carmen also for the inspiration and the help in the wrapping.
I know, man, I put it all in here now.
There is no gift that can quantify the effort that you put in, the thoughtfulness that you bring to the table. I can say that this is a board that truly cares about all students. We often hear about agendas driving decisions, and I can say that it is truly refreshing and a pleasure to be a part of a board that does, in their decision-making process, put the needs of all students on the table as you work through some of these complex problems that you must deal with. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving along with the update. Over the past few days, I have received a number of emails and inquiries regarding the status of the Blue Mountain Middle School musical. Co-curricular opportunities such as this contribute to the growth and development of our students, both academically and socially. And we are grateful to our staff members who support these activities by applying to those co-curricular opportunities. And as a district, we are committed to providing those enriching activities, such as the musical, which are vital to the holistic development of our students. And I'm pleased to share that we continue to support the Blue Mountain Musical program, as evidenced by the board's recent appointment at the September 11th meeting to a staff member to that stipend position as director of that musical. And as a clarifying point, these co-curricular positions are most often delineated in our teacher's contract, which the logistics behind those are often subject to collective bargaining and the Taylor Law. But we are looking forward to supporting that musical and seeing it occur in the spring. My final item for the update is related to our safety and security posture. On November 6th, I will be meeting with, and also our Altera security consultant will be meeting with Amanda Dolce-Moscolano. Will be meeting with a number of regional first responders to include law enforcement agencies, fire response, because we want to always be in a proactive posture of not being reactive to an emergency. Now, we know that you can't plan for emergencies, but you can plan and practice your response to hypothetical situations. One of the most important components of our response is what's called the incident command system. And that's an approach to how an organization responds to an emergency, particularly by identifying roles and responsibilities. And the easiest way I can describe what that might look like is most people would think that if there is an emergency, my first job would be to run to that emergency, and while that may be my first inclination, that is not the most appropriate way to respond. We have identified incident commanders at each of our buildings through their building emergency response teams. They have been trained in the incident command system and have been identifying roles within their safety plans on what people will do in a given emergency. My purpose of meeting with the first responders and those organizations is to just have a conversation, particularly about a unified command post. Often if there's an ongoing emergency response, there will be a command post where communications will be established and the response to the emergency will be coordinated from. And if you can imagine a number of different agencies who may not have worked together in responding to an emergency, there could be instances of confusion or even lack of communication or any hurdle that would get in the way of an efficient response. So I want to gather together all the parties who may be at that incident command post or the Unified Command Post Center and just talk about what are the expectations. If it's this type of emergency, who will assume command? You can imagine probably there will be some egos in there meaning to do well, but we want to make sure we have clear understandings of if X person is in charge, what are the responsibilities of the school district? If the school district is in charge, how will they coordinate with the fire and how will they coordinate with the police? We're always reflecting upon our incidents from previous times. In an incident last year, a command post was spun up by the first responders, and we were unable to get a representative there because of the security perimeter that was put in place. So just as an example, we want to make sure that we can have a seat at that table and that we understand roles and responsibilities. So just an update on some of the things we're doing to ensure our response to an emergency that we hope does not happen. At this time, there are no questions requiring follow-up from last meeting. I will tell my children to go to bed, and I hope my son Michael is feeling better. He's had a rough day today, so hopefully he's feeling better and watching, as he should. And I'll now ask Dr. Stephen Garcia, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and Leadership Development, to provide his report to the Board of Education.
Yeah, so my report's brief tonight. In front of the board, which did already approve the consent agenda, there are two memorandums of agreement, one with the HHEA, one with TAMA, which is the Teaching Assistants and Teacher Aides and Monitors Association. I just want to thank both units for working with us collaboratively to resolve some issues. And they weren't really, I think, outstanding or really detrimental issues to the district, but as things which I think would be helpful to members, past and present, working in those two units. So I just want to thank them for that. Lastly, we also have a posting that will be coming up for a position, which is Dr. Breller's position. We will be posting that for a start date tentatively. Right now it's July 1st, of course, but we'd like to have that up and running by November 1st. So that is the time frame. What we'd like to do over the period of the posting that it's open. There'll be some information for the public and the board as well, how to participate in virtual focus groups with parents and teachers, administrators to kind of understand what they want to see in their next administrator for teaching and learning, curriculum instruction. Any questions they may have about the instruction program, some areas we want to see improvements in. So we'll gather information, hopefully to come up with a composite of an effective, highly effective candidate for this position. We plan to then, hopefully, we may have to extend it, but close the posting sometime in January. And then we will then start reviewing all the candidates for the positions. We'll have some meetings to screen the candidates. We will then have central office interview candidates. We hope to then schedule a stakeholder committee made up of members of the board. We can have also parents and teachers and even students participate in the interview of certain candidates. The goal then would bring some semifinalists back to the board to meet with. And the goal ultimately is either sometime in May, maybe recommend an appointment for a new executive director, superintendent for curriculum instruction. So again, that time's fluid. I kind of base the timeline on different breaks that we may have. There's time in between if we kind of fall behind or we need to move things a little further, or if we want to extend the posting to make sure that we have a rich group of candidates for this important position. So just wanted to make sure the community is aware that we will be posting that, like I said, hopefully November 1st.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. I'll now ask our Executive Director for Technology and Innovation, Ms. Vinitha Joy, to provide her update.
All right, thank you. I have just 3 quick updates for this evening. One, if you have a K-2 student, we've been doing a distance learning academy program through BOCES, where the kids are doing a monster match. I don't know if you've heard about that, but each class is creating a monster. A group is doing a body, a group is doing an arm, a leg. Then after they're done with the project, they get mashed up with another school district or a class, and they're supposed to rebuild the match based on the description that's provided. So there will be a video conferencing session that each school are meeting together. So our technology facilitator that we hired this year, she is doing this program with our STEAM teachers. So there's a lot of excitement. I've been going into the classrooms where they're doing a lot of collaboration, having a lot of fun, learning about, comprehending each other. So it's a lot of fun. If you do have a K-2, ask them about it. The other is we have Friday and Monday, we have Linkit training. I've been doing a lot of reports for the assessment data that we're going to be presenting in November out of the system, and our administrators are going to be trained on Friday. We have a trainer that's coming in to do that, and also we have scheduled the half-day session. Our K-5 staff is also getting trained on Linkit. Looking forward to that training. And the last is I've been doing with Anthony Merlini and myself and the designers of KSQ. We've been meeting with the principals about the spaces that we're going to be addressing in phase 2 of the project. I reached out to my colleagues this week. I got some school districts that are interested in hosting a small team so we can go in and see the library spaces that are already designed, because sometimes it's easier to see visually and how those spaces are being used rather than sitting around a table talking about it. So I'm trying to get some of those site visits organized with our school team so we can take them over there. So looking forward to that too. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinitha, for that Techsoup update. And also, this is an update for staff members that, yes, that is a phishing attempt that came from my email yesterday morning, so don't look at it. It's not me. So I think that's the 3rd time, right?
Yeah, we have been getting quite a few phishing attempts over the last few days. Yes, Michael Trombley has been sharing a lot of documents with the district. But it is not Mike's fault, it's other school districts, so I've been reaching out to, our procedure is reaching out to people. I'm not sure, I sent out another email today, people are putting their passwords into a Google form, and I keep saying, we will never ask you to fill out a form with putting in your password. So IT has been busy, cleaning up a lot of that, like addressing that. We have to scan through their system, see if anybody's logged in. We have to change their password, setting up their MFA, then we delete any emails that came into the district out of our network. I've been contacting other IT directors in where it's coming from, because a lot of times, past 2 days, it's been 2 different districts. So I've been reaching out to the IT directors in those school districts to say, hey, you may want to contact the staff and let them change their password. And one of the school districts, we had to temporarily block them out of our system because there was about 3 different staff that were phishing our staff in our district. So it's not your fault, Mike, but
So I think that the point of that is that this is not unique to Hendrick Hudson. Many school districts are seen as a soft target for these attacks, and there is a lot of time and money and investment to keep our network up and running. So thank you, your staff. I'll now turn it over to Ms. Lisa Chookman, our Executive Director for Pupil and Personnel Services, for her update.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Just a couple different things. We have kicked off the BIMS, and we did the entire 9th grade, which is a huge undertaking. If you haven't done it, it was actually quite amazing to learn what we learned. We identified at least 5 red, which means they're children that, or students that answered the critical question about hurting themselves. Once you answer that with a 1 or above, you get flagged. And then we had about 15 students that were on the border. So the social workers and psychologists throughout the district, we kept rotating and bringing them in to support the high school. We learned the first time we did it the whole day. The second time, yesterday, we did it first period with all the kids in the auditorium. 80 is about the max we can handle in a day, but we did learn that, so it's going to be easier in the middle school. But it has been an amazing process for us. We have learned a lot about our kids that we didn't know and were not on our radar are now on the radar, which is extremely important for all of us sitting at this table. We have it planned out to do the BIMS implementation through January or December 18th to get all the grades completed. I have grades K-2 scheduled, 6-8, and 9-12 are scheduled. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's like, but we're all ready to go. Our teams are set to go into the buildings, and we will rotate just like we did this time. We have been chosen for indicator number 8 this year for special education, which means that if you have a CSE meeting, we're going to send you a survey. We need to have so many surveys completed by the end, or we do it again next year. And that survey is kind of saying, what do we need to do better? How can we help you more? Things to that nature. So that's one of the indicators that we have going on. Also, starting next month for 3 weeks in a row, our teen mental health students will be trained by our the trainers mental health, Mrs. Fio, Mr. Coyle, and Miss Burns Dobson. And I think Dina still goes by her, Bertolini. They are going to be training a group of 22 students. We have all the materials. The students will get specific materials. And then after that, the goal of these students are going to be able to mentor their lower students, so middle school or 4 or 5. They're going to be people that help with mental health. It's an extreme in-depth training and might be impactful on some people that have some issues with mental health, and they're going to be told this before the training. I'm not a trainer, but I have been trained, and you see some pretty impactful videos. So it's going to be an amazing things that kids can talk to kids. So I think that's really important. And lastly, just a heads up on our CPSE numbers. Usually about this time, we're about 40. We are currently at 52 students. From 4 years old to 5 years old, currently we have 30 students coming into the district. Of those 30, 10 are in special programs. Of the pending CPSE, we currently have 12. Seven of them currently are going through the evaluation process. 4 of them are currently getting consent. And regarding where they're coming from, primarily from our UPK, which is awesome for us because they're right here. Again, we don't pay for these services. We manage an IEP. What we do, the county pays for them. We've been fortunate enough now that the county is reimbursing us. This year alone, CPSE costs were being reimbursed $82,000. So that's pretty good money when you talk about stacking. Jill and I talked about that this afternoon. And, you know, our numbers are pretty high. And I think at this time last year, like I said, we had 40. When we ended last year, we were close to 90. So just so we know what's coming in.
Thank you, Lisa. Dr. Reller is unable to be here tonight, so we
Sorry, I turned it off.
do miss her and we hope she's doing well. So I will end the cabinet report with Ms. Jill Figueroa, our interim.
So, good evening. We have just a couple of things. So the site survey for the capital project will be happening over the next couple of weeks. We've engaged with the surveyors, so they're going to be starting that. We had our first finance committee meeting tonight. We discussed budget timeline and the budget process, basically a kickoff to the budget season. We'll be meeting with other departments in December, but working on getting all of that together now. I'll be working on our state aid with our NISBA experts, trying to improve our revenue streams. And the bid for the EPC project. We had bidded out for financing and we got 7 bidders. We'll be paying that off over the next 15 years. That project will be starting soon in the next couple of months. And we got a rate of 3.85%. So that was good because we had 7 bidders, so that made it very competitive. That's my report.
Thank you, Jill. Just a point of clarification. Could you
Sure.
could you describe the acronym EPC?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's our energy performance contract, construction work. I don't know the exact work that we're having done. I don't know if
We let him know.
Anthony's here, but he's not. But we've talked about it before. I just wanted to let everyone know we got the bid back on the financing and that it was a good bid.
Thank you, Jill. So that concludes our cabinet reports to the Board of Education. Thank you.
Well, that brings us to our policy meetings tonight. So. All right, so just to spell out, we only have 4 policies tonight. They are all first readings. And I'm gonna start with the first reading of policy 1800, donations, gifts, and grants to the district. Unsolicited gifts and donations from the public. A board member, officer.
Reading.
Second. All in favor? Okay. So this came up. We had this policy adopted in 1987 originally, and it has not been updated since. So we brought this one based on the recommendation of NISBA up to the new wording. We reviewed this with our attorneys. So they approved it and we were very cautious on the wording. So this is where this policy gets into gift giving. And we know at the holidays, a lot of the time, we're collecting gifts, giving gifts to our staff. Any public donation cannot exceed $75 per person to an individual. So this is kind of what this called out. It called out what a gift can be and what the terms are. So this is very legal language. There's not much we can change here because we had this run very specifically by our attorneys. Am I missing anything, Jeremy, on this one?
No, I don't think so. I think you wrapped that pretty good. We spent some time to make certain that it was clear that the cap was on a per person contribution and not on the gift in totality. So it's still an opportunity to express gratitude for the people that are impacting the education of our students.
Okay, so we'll bring this one back. Yeah. Okay, this is the first reading. This is a revision of policy 2160, school district officer and employee code of ethics. This is a required policy. The Board of
Motion to
Education,
waive the reading.
second, all in favor? Okay, so this is a required, policy. It is and the cross references are all here. This one has not been, this one has been updated, but not since 2011. And this brings together what we just discussed, the $75, the code of ethics, it spelled out all the parameters. What is a contract? What is interest, the definitions, defines the gift. What's considered confidential. So everything is wrapped up in here to back up and support the other policy.
These are all in this already.
The only thing I could call out is it's not 75 or less, it's 75 or more. So 75 is not okay.
Says the one exceeds $75.
What paragraph you meant, Darren, where are you? Those gifts?
That's what I'm saying.
They have to match. The wording doesn't match, I don't think.
I think there's a little bit of fine tuning so that the two match one another.
Notwithstanding the foregoing, a teacher may receive a class gift with a value of 75, where the amount of the contribution from each student does not exceed 75.
So policy 1800 reflects the sense of the board of how that reading should look, and we should just transfer that over to
The language.
the language over
The
to.
spirit's the same.
Yes, to policy
2160.
2160.
And I'm sorry I didn't catch that.
We only read this one about 5 times. Okay, that's why we did this as a group.
I like the pressure.
Sometimes they blend together.
They do. Okay. So we'll bring this one back for second reading, the next meeting with those changes. First reading policy 2250, board committees. The Board of Education
Motion
made,
to waive the reading.
Second.
so this is basically, this is a new policy that NISBA recommends we have. It basically outlines how we establish committees, what our committees are, who is on the committees. It's very simple. It just supports what we've been doing and basically what NISBA's recommendations and legally how we don't violate open meetings laws and all that. It also explains how we can establish an ad hoc meeting, committees.
Great, thanks.
Anything questions on this one?
This is just saying that the president can join any of the committees, they don't have to be part of it.
The president,
They can just come to any of them.
but not if there's 3.
Yeah,
And most of our committees have 3, so I could be a stand-in anywhere if there's 2, but
so you could replace somebody, but not.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, some districts have it.
Not like physically replace us.
Yeah, some-
Stand in for in their absence.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and some districts, in some districts, the board president is not on any committees. But you'll have 2 members, like officially, and then the board president can go to any of them. So, I mean, we handle it a little differently here, but that's how it's written. That's how NISBA writes it as well, recommendation. I will bring that one back. I just want to add that we did not change a word in that policy. That's exactly how it was given to us. Just a note. Okay, this is policy 2140, board member removal from office. This is just referring to the ed law originally adopted. Are we retiring this one?
I thought this is.
This is the first reading, this is a retirement. Carmen, can you explain why we're retiring, so I don't remember?
This policy is addressed in policy 2150, school board legal status. We've
Oh,
already
so at 2150.
50 has this language, and we don't need this policy.
Okay, so we can retire this one tonight.
Is 2150 adopted already?
Yes. Yes.
So motion to waive second reading for 2140.
Second.
All in favor? I have to do the first reading first.
Yeah, I thought she started.
I did, but it wasn't waived.
Motion to waive the reading of,
She's got to start.
Policy 2140, board member removal from office.
motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion to waive the second reading of policy 2140.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion to retire, 2140.
Second.
All in favor? Good job, guys.
Yes, I'll do my retirement reminder. Any of the retired policies can be accessed in board docs under our archive.
All right, so this brings us to, board comments, new business. Is there anything anyone wants to start off with? All right. So tonight, what we would like to do first. But I would like to start off with, I'm gonna read a statement, it's easier. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to take a moment to express our deep gratitude and appreciation to Mr. Trombley as we acknowledge your one-year anniversary of service with the Hendrick Hudson School District. Your dedication to being a servant leader has been evident through the past year. Your efforts to listen, learn, help, and lead have not gone unnoticed, reminding us of our mission statement and our vision regularly to keep us all focused on what matters most, our students. We want to take this opportunity to sincerely thank you for your leadership, your vision, your dedication to the district, and we look forward to many years of your service. Thank you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
October 21st was officially his
Yes,
one-year anniversary.
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And thank you for taking a moment to recognize that. It's been a pleasure to listen, learn, help, and lead. And I appreciate that the mantra came through. So
I read them, I read everything.
it's been a pleasure. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to get to know the community. And as I said, when I was appointed, I view that keeping the trust is more important than getting the trust in the first initial earn. So I look forward to continuing to do that.
Thank you. I have another update. Our first official newsletter went out this week. And I want to personally thank Josh Thompson and trustee Corey Boudin for helping to coordinate and bring that to life for us. We will continue to communicate with the community and staff in this format periodically, potentially quarterly, to share what we're working on and how we're progressing with our goals. So we thought that it was really important to take in this first iteration to let everyone know what our goals were for the year, because our goals exist to serve our community and make sure that we are on track in that service. So now everyone is officially made aware, because we know a lot of people don't listen to our board meetings necessarily.
8 people tonight.
8 people tonight. So that's a good way to make sure that what we're doing gets out to the whole community.
Standing in here. So
Does that include- does that include
Maybe, and Greg. I also wanted to call out on not only were there goals, but we had our meet and greets announced in there. We will be at the Haunted High School on Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. And it's also a really good opportunity to call out the Hendrick Hudson High School PTSA Haunted High School, because we have this event every year. It's a pre-K through 5 and then 9th through 12th event. So basically our pre-K through 5th graders are welcome to come. I think the fee is like $5 a student, and our high school students help run and manage their clubs, help run and manage that program. And all funds that night are divided up and given to those clubs. So the more kids that come, the more fundraising those kids do. And I honestly, it is really one of our, it is such a fun event to be at. I'm actually glad, just, usually I'm at the table, meeting, greeting, and taking, putting bracelets on people, but this year I'll be at the table to meet and greet the community. Hopefully people come and just say hi. There's no sign up for that. That's just open. We're here. We want to meet you, talk to you, no pressure, just come stop by and say hi. And that is followed by our Pumpkin Pops concert, which brings our 8th graders in with our high school students to perform, which is another awesome thing. So great opportunities coming up for that. Our meet and greet is, our next meet and greet, which is a Sign Up Genius, is Wednesday, November 6th. That is in person before the next board meeting. And then we have a virtual session for anyone that can't make it in person on Thursday, November 7th. And then I hate to do all this talking, guys, but I'm gonna also bring up the NYSSBA convention. So we had NYSSBA convention Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I attended Sunday, Monday, Tuesday in person. Lauren joined virtually, and Corey joined me Monday and Tuesday. We learned a lot. We did a lot of networking. We talked to other schools. I know, Corey, you guys wanna speak to it, so it's not me. Anything you want to share?
So nicely.
Is there anything you want to share in particular that you learned? Because you guys are new, and I think, you know, it's interesting to be at something like this because there's so many people that are brand new board members along with, and then so many people that have just been doing this for years. They're so dedicated. They don't have students in school anymore, but they're dedicated to their communities, and they want to share their ideas. So is there anything that you would like to?
Yeah, I would just say that, first of all, it was great, a great experience to. Sorry, I'm very loud. I don't know. Hello. It was, is that working? Yes. It was, I appreciated being able to go. It was a great experience. It was overwhelming to be in like that giant auditorium with so many other people and from New York, you know, and then you realize how giant our state is. Like when you took me to the map that showed
All the
our little area down here in, you know, Westchester, and then the giant rest of the state. And people were like, had a lot of state spirit, and there were a lot of Buffalo Bills jerseys and things like that. But it was great. Some of the lectures or sessions were wonderful. What sticks out most to me is the last thing we did with the seed.
The Seed Club, and
The
White
Seed
Plains
Club?
Seed Club, yeah.
Yeah, which was run by a bunch of students from the White Plains High School. And they did like an interactive thing with the audience and kind of asked us some quite difficult questions about how we identify and, you know, like our sort of internal things, and we broke down into groups, and they were just a really eloquent, you know, mature group of high school kids. And it just left me feeling like remembering like why we're doing this. So it was good. And thank you for including me. Thanks for attending.
Lauren got to sit down.
Yeah, so on Monday from about 8 to 5:30, I was on Zoom all day, but it was good because I got to go about my day, but I still got to attend the conference. So, you know, if anybody ever wants to attend but can't, that was a good way. They did a good job. I think I saw and learned about some different things that Corey and Erica might have, or some of the things might have overlapped, but they went from footage into like the ballroom that you guys might have been seeing, and then they went to like little breakout sessions where they were all different topics. So like, just for instance, they focused a lot on AI and policy for AI, and they like introduced this like robot, which I think you guys saw, which, you know, may become a thing in the future. That was crazy. Just like different ways, lots of different things about school safety, including how to stay safe in school and different ways people do lockdown drills and fire drills, and down to opioid use and how to protect your students from that, which also goes into like mental health. There was, they talked about setting district goals, teacher shortage, foundation aid. So there's just like a few things we learned about keeping kids safe on social media, cybersecurity. I mean, it just like and Tuesday was from 8 to 1, so they really like covered a lot in those time periods, so. The cello guy at the end, yeah, I mean, it was like, you know, every
Eric and I were tearing up.
hour, there was like something new coming on the screen, so, but it was good, so on my end, you could ask questions, like in the chat, it wasn't like nobody could like actually speak, but I mean, I feel like I learned a lot that maybe we'll sit down and go over our notes and stuff, but there were some good points that came up.
And I just want to say as new board members, I mean, we're all new. I consider us all new, to be honest. But as our newest board members, taking on, you learned probably more in, a 72-hour period, right? And we're exposed to more than some of us have been. Like it was, so I appreciate you doing that and taking the time and learning. It was I'm sure you'll have a lot of great ideas to bring. So.
Point of privilege.
Yeah.
I know I sound like a broken record, but I do want to always bring us back to our strategic plan and our values that we've expressed, and that's lifelong learning. So thank you, board members, for demonstrating that to our students about the value of lifelong learning. So thank you.
That leads us to committee reports. Any committee reports tonight?
Not a lot of public sharing. Yeah, well.
I mean, I went to the safety committee meeting this week, so like Jeremy said, not too much to share, but one of the things that they did share was that, all the evacuation maps have been completed in the elementary schools, and they're gonna start in the middle school next.
Great, that's great news.
We had our first finance meeting today. Again, nothing to share. Doing the district's business.
I went to the SEPTA PTA meeting. They had a a really good presentation. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. They had a sensory presentation that was very insightful. So Lisa did a really good job. Fantastic.
Yes, I'll say that.
Oh, and I also wanted to mention that they were having a Chipotle fundraiser event
Yes.
on November 9th, and they were talking about a Halloween night event with Avelinos.
Oh, nice.
And that video presentation that is really, really good was shared on Member Hub.
Okay, I just want to mention that I attended the Hendrick Hudson High School PTA meeting. PTA advocacy, I think, has a meeting coming up. But I just wanted to let everyone know that we began our goal 1 of this week, which is advocacy in the district. So Mr. Trombley and I met with a group of PTA advocacy and staff and HHCEF to kind of put our heads together on how we can move forward with advocating for Hendrick Hudson for more for further funding. And there's basically just a brainstorming session, but what we got out of that is that we will be moving forward with a letter from our internal stakeholders, our board, the district, the union leaders, PTA, advocacy, and the PTA. So we're gonna come up with a letter from all of us advocating for our district. That's as far as we got. We don't know who's writing the letter yet, but this is as far so far. But I wanted to share that with the community because we have to move forward with these advocacy efforts. They are so important for the solvency of the district. We got this far, and we have to make sure that we can continue. So.
Point of privilege. So what struck me from that meeting is you had many different groups of stakeholders in there who individually may have had different perspectives, but they all came together to support Hendrick Hudson in remaining financially solvent, and above and beyond that, providing the best educational opportunity for our students. So thank you to that group for their efforts already.
That was a big step in the right direction for our goal, our first goal. So I just wanted to share with everyone that is all I have to say tonight. And so that's it. Anyone else? All right, the board will now continue and move back into executive session for session 2. So we will close our meeting. And we will continue in executive session. And again, I will remind you that we are convening for collective negotiations under the Taylor Law, medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment or promotion or demotion, or discipline or suspension or removal of a particular person or corporation. All right, thanks, everyone.